Good morning. Good morning. Java Delight will uplift you. Stay tuned. The show is about to begin. Grab your coffee. Stay tuned. This show is about to begin.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children from all over the world. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this morning. My name is Brandon Croucher, CEO of Delight Cafe. I also have with me the one, the only, the most beautiful princess in all of South Africa, Miss Elsa.
Morning.
Hi, how are you, sweetie?
I'm okay. I made it to 4 o'clock. And there was a time in the day when I thought, geez, can this day not just end? I'm so over it. Hi, Anna.
That's Ryan. Say hi, Ryan.
Hi,
Elsa!
Ryan.
She's already all about you. Look at you stealing all my... Hey, I need you to put in a good word. You need to put in a good word for me with her, all right?
I will.
All right, thank you.
Thank God. I got you. I'll be a wing woman.
Yes, finally, I have one of you. Ryan, good morning, my friend. Ready? Here's a good one. Ready? Good morning from the BG Cafe. BG Cafe. I don't know, Brett Gordon Cafe. It's the BG Cafe. Yeah,
hello,
big
Brett.
guns. He's all muscular, so he's like, oh, I'm the Big Gun Cafe. You know, and then we have up here Mandy Atterbury and Jessica Dugas. Jessica Dugas, good morning from the Big
morning, Jessica.
And then Mandy Atterbury. Mandy, you do have a purpose. This is just a moment in time. This is a spot where, like, your daughter and that is going through stuff, and you know what? I can't say for sure it's gonna come back around. I can't, but I can say that we're gonna put good vibes on it. We're gonna put affirmations towards it, and we're gonna speak positivity towards it. Because the truth is, Mandy, you're 100% awesome. You are 100% original, and you're 100% you. And if your daughter doesn't see that, just keep being you. Keep
True, please.
Yes,
please. Just, I think it's difficult for parents to set up boundaries with their kids. Because when things happen and when you try and help and everything, things usually can go wrong. But we're all just trying. And somewhere along the line, you're a mother. You guys will sort it out. You will definitely sort it out.
Yes, 100%.
Stay strong.
And then you got, look, Mandy, right here, boom, off the bat, Jessica Dugas. Mandy, I acknowledge your pain. Part of what I have realized on my journey with my children is that my purpose must be myself, my own growth, and my relationship with my children is better. Honestly, yes, very well said. Jessica Dugas.
Amen.
Her father is not one. She's still your daughter, no matter what. You had a part, he had a part. You are always going to be her mom. Right now, it feels like he won. Just go with that. Know you're better because you never lost. Just on an extended vacation. And then Anna says hello to Brian. Brian, the bird is the only good word. The bird. You can't see my arms flailing at the bottom here, but they look really funny, okay? And then Brian Tracy, good morning from hell, Michigan. Kind of the
morning.
And then Sarah Nelson, she is on the beach, soaking up some sun, enjoying herself today. Oh, yeah.
I'm jealous.
Should we tell Mandy to reach out to your guest from yesterday afternoon's podcast? Perfect. Last night's podcast we had on, guys, it was Wow, what a story. Did you get a chance to see it at all?
I have not. I have not, because we had our podcast and I only got home at about 11, and then I woke up, went to work, got home, put on the podcast. So you've got my undivided attention tonight after the show, because I want to watch it. I really do. So I will definitely watch it.
Mandy, look at this. You have so many people reaching out saying, I know you did, Ryan. They're actually curious about talking to you, by the way. I told them how sexy you were and who you are in the world. And they were like, oh my God. And they were like, he's a movie director. He makes actual movies. And he's he's like the Jew Bear. That's what I'm going to probably change his YouTube name to. He is a very big guy that likes to tell everybody how he's Jewish, and then he shakes your hand and it swallows up your arm. Like, I shook his hand and it disappeared up to here. I'm like, where's Rayla? He's just a great human being, and I'm grateful to call him my friend. Even Anna's reaching out going, yo, it's okay. You're strong and great in spirit. I love that. I love that. See, this is why we do what we do. When you're feeling down, literally just throw up there what's going on. Like, we're not going to sugarcoat it. We're not going to baby you and rock you to sleep. We're going to tell you, hey, we're here. Life sucks. And guess what? You have people who are going to want to see you get through it. We're all here. So, Mandy, we're hugging you. I'm sending good vibes your way, taking my heart, putting it out here and saying, love you. Ready? Send the good vibes. Ready also?
The magic fingers.
I don't know. You pick whatever you want.
Oh, man.
I love it. Brandon, your friend. Oh, so let me tell you guys what's going on. Hold on a second. I have people who love to tell me how amazing they are at cooking and come visit and da-da-da-da-da. I'm house sitting the most adorable puppy right now. And then I get these pictures from Miss Jessica Dugas with French toast and a fresh bouquet of flowers, right? Like, I'm sitting there, I look at it, and I'm like, you picked those flowers just to make me jealous, didn't you? She goes back right away. Yep. I'm like, I'm coming to visit. Don't you play? I want to eat that. She's like, you keep saying you're gonna come visit. I can't. I'm house sitting. I gotta make a little money right now. Not much longer down that you guys. I have to do this. Ryan was 334 pounds. He is down to 287. Yep. 287, guys. This share, give it to Ryan. That is hard as hell to do, and he not only did it, he's doing it with pride. He's doing it by believing in himself. Ryan, I am so proud of you. So proud of you. Share in the comments. Please don't throw up. What? I don't want to throw up. Ryan, I am so proud of you, buddy. Please, everybody go throw up there exactly how proud you are of somebody who works that hard and the achievement they do, so that way they want to keep going. If you've never been able to lose that much weight, guess what? One of the hardest things you'll ever do. Losing weight is like a mental, emotional, spiritual, everything thing. So take care of yourself. And beyond moving pictures and breakthrough show are going to get along, and it scares me. You can still be a bear. One of my favorite stuffed animals has no stuffing. Beyond moving pictures, congratulations. Beyond moving pictures, I am beyond proud of you. Keep heading in that direction. If you get down below 220, Ilsa says she will fly in and marry you for her green card, okay? I try to marry her off like I do my ex-fiance. Like, I love Sarah to death. She's an amazing person. I'm trying to find her the right partner because she was such a great person. Ilsa, same thing. I'm just trying to get Ilsa a green card. So if you know any really attractive single guys, let us know, and we're going to send Ilsa to them only if they
do our own bachelor. We do our own bachelor.
It's Freaky Fridays. We don't know what that means yet. It could mean Ilsa gets freaky with somebody, or it could just mean that it's Friday and I made this weird.
Let's open. I don't know.
Oh, LOL, Brandon, you said this is why we do what we do. Throw up in the comments. No, don't throw. Now I get it. And then if not Ilsa, Brandon will fly there and marry you. I will. Ilsa, you and I, are you marrying me? You willing to marry me? I'm quite adorable. I know how to dress like an African hunter already. I wore this just for you today. I'm ready. We're going to go out on the streets. We're going to be like, all right, first thing I'm doing is I'm getting off the plane and I'm looking for my giraffe to pet. Like all I want.
I'll bring a giraffe to the airplane. I'll get you someone else to marry if you want to stay in South Africa.
I don't want to get married.
Neither do I. Thank fuck.
Oh, there it is! First one of the day! Yesterday, we got them to stay.
I'm not doing the dolphin dance.
I'm sorry, guys. I woke up with a lot of energy, and I went to go feed the cats at Sarah's house because I'm house sitting her too. And then I turned around and I'm like, I got to get coffee. I have to get coffee. So I got Dunkin' Donuts, and the person behind the counter must have had like Tourette's with pushing the sugar button because this is low. They're like, oh my God, I feel like there's so much like sugar in there. Brandon, nice knowing Ilsa. Now bring me my furry creatures. Guys, I have this dog sitting underneath me right now that every time I get a little bit loud, he flips his head back like, yo, I just want to sleep underneath you. Can you please keep it tame? Please. I'm trying, coach. I'm trying. You are a handsome son of a bitch, aren't you? Aren't you? So, Ilsa, how's your day going, girl? Talk to me. Tell us what's going on in South Africa. Have you started riots? Have you pet any giraffes today? How did the sharks get trained?
Nothing exciting. Absolutely nothing. It was just a day, and it's almost over, and I'm glad. It's also not it's not a lacquer day, so I don't want to talk about my day. Make me laugh. Put me in a better mood. That's why I'm also here today. I also want to be put in a better mood. I'm seriously.
So how do we put? Let's talk about this. How can we put ourselves in a better mood? We do a show about positivity, but you coming out saying it's just today and you're in need of it. By the way, everybody go like, comment, or share. Give us a little bit of love today. Honestly, it's one of those things where it helps our algorithm out. So please don't forget to do that. That's how we will feel love and appreciation from everybody. But Ilsa, how can we get love and appreciation for you to be filled today? How can we fill your cup? I don't even have a mug on me.
I like laughing, and right now nothing is funny. If you understand what I mean, if you know that, so tell me jokes. Give me your best yo mama jokes. Let's just get laughing.
Did you just say give me your best your mama jokes? Can you compete? Like, can we go back and forth?
Go do a few, and then mine will come loose. Don't put me on the spot, because then I'm gonna go. But I'll get them. If the people start going, then we can go. We can go.
All right. Your mama's so fat she sat on a rainbow and Skittles popped out.
Your mama's so fat. Louis, help.
No, you can't call it a favor.
You see, he usually tells me the yo mama jokes. Go. I said you put me on the spot there. Go.
Your mama's all right. Your mama's so old, God asked her to flip the light switch to say, let there be light.
No, it's not working.
Oh, all right, I got it.
My mood's not going. I don't know what's up.
Would you rather be a panda or a lion?
A panda.
Oh, why?
A panda.
Why?
They're the cutest animals in the world.
But
have you seen it?
So yes, but what is black, white, and red?
Panda that somebody shot.
A panda being eaten by a lion.
So it's almost as brutal as mine. I just thought that.
I was like, she went like you go dark right away.
My dream job is becoming a panda nanny. I mean, you play with baby pandas the whole day. In China, there's panda nannies.
Why?
They look after pandas. Because pandas are stupid and they're just very naughty. Well, they're not stupid, they're intelligent, but the things they do, fall out of trees, get hooked on stuff. It's hilarious. You must actually Google their videos. That always makes me smile. Panda videos.
Panda videos getting hooked on meth. Got it. I got you.
On meth? Lucky fucking
so they get hooked on things. They get hooked on things. So, I mean, it's that or phonics. Hooked on phonics.
No, what's the cheapest?
Probably meth.
We have to go with myth then. We're looking at the budget.
All right, so Ilsa's having a long day. So yesterday we had an interview on the H, and I had Bob with me doing my co-hosting last night. And I got to interview this mom and her 2 daughters, and it was a phenomenal story because the daughters were older than their sister, but their sister passed away from a drunk driver hitting her, and she died at 20 years old. So it was a phenomenal story because her older sisters are much older than her, and they did not know a lot about their sister because of the age difference. But what was absolutely the most heartfelt thing ever was her sisters, to live on her memory. Her name was Olivia's memory. They literally went out of their way and went and found all the nonprofits she volunteered for, all the organizations she does stuff for, and found out their sister really was making a huge impact on their community. So because of her passing away, they started a scholarship fund for kids to go to college. And it's $5,000 a year for the nicest kid in the community. And that's not like, oh, hi, I'm going to hold the door for you. It's like they're volunteering. They're going and giving out things. The football team is going and feeding the homeless this week. Like they focused on bringing.
Amazing.
I agree. They focused on bringing the positive out of such a very dark situation. Yesterday's episode was one that not only pulled hearts, it had all of us were in tears. I did what I do, where when the energy got heavy and crying and all that, I just bawled like a baby, but then I turn around and make a joke. And what I did was I wanted to make sure we focus on providing where you can go help them and what they're doing and how they're looking at it differently. What was fun is the one sister doesn't swear whatsoever, and I got her to drop her F word. I got her to use her F word.
Well done.
Thank you. Like I literally, backstage, they were cracking up. We had Fernando coming on. Brian Tracy's here. Brian, I love you. Oh, wait, I know he's here. Why? How do I know? Because he's looking for his nuts, the walnuts. Now, I say all that to say, we had such a great interview. We had such a great interaction with the fans and the community and all that. So I want to thank everybody because yesterday's interview was one that I felt on my heart really was a great push. It was a great way to end the day. Even though it was a sad story, they put so much good into it that I was honored to be able to interview women who are making such a huge change, not only in their community, but the ripple effect that's going to have. So
I get goosebumps when I hear stories like this.
Goosebumps. By the way,
Goosebumps.
why you said China like Trump, and it made me laugh really hard, and I couldn't say anything.
But China.
You go China, and I was like,
China.
oh my God, China. I'm like, she watches way too much American news if she's saying it like that. Oh, that's funny. So with all this being said, guys, we're going to jump into how you can find your positive today. How can we find the positive in one another? How can we uplift one another? Bob's beard made the interview magical. Yeah. Have we ever seen a beard? Like I say all the time, he was the lead member of ZY Top, and they kicked him out. Why? Because Bob's beard was too awesome. They had to change it to ZZ Top. I'm sorry. Couldn't resist. But we're going to find the positive today. And I think we're going to have an amazing day. I know we're going to have an amazing day. I'm going to speak it over all of us right now because truth is, there's a lot happening around us. And while that energy feels heavy, it feels tight, it feels like we're just all being pushed down. Guess what? We're a community that's all lifting each other up. Keep looking around. Find the people who are there for you. Don't just put your energy on them. Make sure you're uplifting and caring for one another because the truth is, we're not going to get through this earth. We're not going to get through this life without having a community of people around us that truly believe in one another and the best for one another. And that changes the world.
True story.
True story.
It's
just a story, though. Don't believe us.
No, it's true. It's true.
So
I look forward to 4:00 in the afternoon. So it gets me through the day because I like meeting with you guys and having a chat with you guys. Because I don't have friends.
Oh, whatever.
Friend,
You have friends. It's just you're far away from. Like, think about this. I'm in Cleveland, Ohio. Jessica's in Alabama. Sorry, I feel like I have to do this every time. Sweet home Alabama,
Alabama.
where the Dugas family lives. I was trying. So today we have a really awesome guest. Do you want to know about our guest today, Elsa?
Please.
So his
Jay
name.
Smith.
How did you know that, you cheater? Are you sneaking around reading the profiles behind my back?
No, I just write down their names so I don't forget it. And I'm like,
I get it.
Interview tip 101. Write down your guest name.
Write down name. Don't. Oh, that was a big one.
You.
Oh, my soul came out on that one. Jay has been a full stack web developer for about 12 years now. He has a digital forensic analysis for about 7 years and a private investigator for the last 3 years. He's recognized the need for cybersecurity investigation and protection in our area after several cases highlighted a gap in the capacity of law enforcement that had to deal with issues of anonymous online harassment, stalking, and fraud perpetuated using technology to strive and fill the gap while working along with the Louisville area schools, Girl Scouts of the Kentuckianians, in foster the careers of cybersecurity. So he focuses on building a cybersecurity team with kids to prevent bullying. And truth be told, we talked about that a little bit earlier this week. Honestly, amazing is just the beginning of it. Like, Elsa, when you were a kid, I'm asking a question, so please, anybody that wants to jump in this, you're more than welcome to. But like, when you were a kid, did you get bullied? I was bullied in high school a lot. I had people who didn't like my haircut. Yes, my haircut. Believe it or not, that was what people wanted to fight me on. I did have hair. Believe it or not, this used to be a luxurious half a lush. It was, I had a V, like the what do they call it? The points going back since I was 16. So I knew I was going to be bald and I just didn't care. Like, it's like, whatever. So I started shaving my head at a young age, but I did have hair at one point and I dyed the tips because I wanted to be like Justin Timberlake. Like, I want to be like, ooh, I'm bringing sexy back.
Oh,
I
forgot the words. And I'm not good with improvising words. Like,
that's just
your question. On your question, I don't remember. I don't. By choice, I was a rebel in school, so nobody really bullied me or anything. I think I was more bullied in my adult life, by people now starting to want to assert dominance over you.
Yes.
So I've got bullied a lot, especially in being in a male industry in the steel industry. It's yes, you sometimes get bullied by bosses or people in your life. I mean, even my parents, bullies. Yes.
Now, when you say you were bullied, how were you bullied? Like, I asked that as in, like, so mine was they wanted to fist fight. When I say bullied, they literally come at me and they're
abuse, verbal abuse. Verbal abuse is bully. Verbal abuse, it's the exact same thing.
It is.
There's no, you're mentally abusing someone if you say something to break down their character. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what your opinion is about a matter. You do not have the right to talk down to anybody. Not you treat each other with respect. You speak. I don't fear people anymore because of you. No one is better than me, and I'm better than no one. Understand? So with that mindset, I don't bully people into doing anything because that's not my nature. If you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Right. Then don't do it. I agree because there's honestly. I agree with you. And I think that people, look, we've all have you ever been the bully? Let me rephrase that to have you ever been?
Sure, yes, but you need to recognize it, because I used to, because of my past and the way I was brought up and how people handled conflict with me. I started handling that conflict the same way with my kids. Understand? Bullying my kids, of course, you're mentally abusing them by talking down to them because their opinions don't matter. They always have to do what you say they have to do. And I was a rebel because I didn't like people doing that to me. And I had to check myself, because I never wanted the relationship that I have with my mother, I do not want with my kids, because it's a toxic relationship. The last time I saw my mom, she attacked me physically in front of my kids, and I just decided I'm not doing this anymore. And I'm a 36-year-old woman, and you want to attack me in front of my kids? Because I don't do that. I don't fight. But I don't allow people to shout at me, and I don't keep quiet. I've got an opinion. So it was just a lot of things going on at the same time, and everything just falling apart. And I promised myself I will never have the kind of relationship I had with my parents, with my children. I just won't.
And I think that's a good thing, because I think that you're not wanting to separate that. You're wanting to uplift. But being bullied is something that, like Stuart has right here. Phenomenal statement. Bullied for being the smart kid, physically and psychologically. To extent, I gave up being a smart kid. And I wonder how many other people are like that. I remember being... So... This is about being vulnerable, being raw, being open. So here, in school, I had extreme learning disabilities, extreme. And I don't mean that in a little way. I mean that as in, like, I was not allowed to be in the classroom during tests because my anxiety was so much, I had to go into a special room, sit by myself, and read the test out loud, for real. And
why is that? Can I ask why, if you want to answer, why is that?
I literally... test anxiety. So let's say you and I are sitting next to each other and it's the test. We're taking a test. I would see that you're further along than me, and I would freak out in my head thinking, what the hell's wrong with me? Why can't I keep up? Like, what am I doing? Why is Elsa so much further ahead? And it's one of those things where as much as I really enjoyed being able to leave the classroom to go take tests and all that, it was completely embarrassing. And starting in like third grade,
imagine.
Oh, imagine like they're handing the test out and they're like, all right, Brandon, you can go. It's like, thanks for making this obvious in front of the whole class. So I had a learning disability that, as weird as this sounds, my test anxiety was so extreme that when I would be taking a test, I would actually be in another room. I'd have like a teacher or guidance counselor, but at one point, the SATs and ACTs I took, and I had to take them in a room like everybody else to prove that you could take these tests. I took these tests, and my parents then fought the state to say, hey, he needs to be able to take these in a different way. He needs to be in a special room so he can read the questions out loud and everything. Let me just say this. I went from not having any colleges really want me from my SATs, ACT scores to actually getting scholarship offers. That's how big of a difference it was. So it's like, my negative thing was I was bullied mainly by myself and people who saw me leaving the classroom that just were like, oh, look how dumb he is, short bus and stuff like that. And I'm like, and the windows taste delicious.
Yeah.
But
it's unnecessary.
It is.
Do you think if do you think people bully people because in the old times we were told don't be vulnerable, don't show emotion. So as soon and then everybody, somebody's bullying you, so what? Don't show emotion, don't be upset, don't talk about it. I mean, it's affected a lot. It's made...
Well, here, I'm going to twist that. I'm going to twist exactly what you said in favor of women, okay? So what you're saying is that with being out there, with doing something, do you not say something because, A, snitches get stitches, like we talked about the other day. You don't want to be the one being made fun of for being that? Do you teach your kids to fight? Here's another way, like they did, like Jane did, or do you just walk away like Stuart did, and you have this better mentality of who you are, but really you feel like you were still bullied after? Honestly, here's where I stay with this: is it's like a female not wanting to come out to talk about the fact that she was sexually abused by somebody. That fear of being rejected, that fear of being not wanted, that fear of what happened to you not being good enough. And I can't put myself in that situation. I can only give what it is. I can only give why I would think that would be wrong. But like when you're bullied, when a man is sexually assaulting another person, okay, whether it's a female or a male, because I've been sexually harassed by many gay men, but like, and for real, it's been really interesting. I could tell stories all day about that. But like, when you're breaking those barriers and when these things are happening, that is their insecurities. And I to not be able to come forwards and know that you could talk about these things and find a community of people that want to help you get through this pain, not see you stay in it, is essential. And I think that's why like this conversation is such a hard one for so many people, is when they were bullied, that's a topic that comes up and they hear it and they feel it and they it triggers things back. And a lot of us need to be able to break that boundary or that trigger in us to say, it wasn't my fault that they're a dickhead. It wasn't my fault that they took advantage, hurt, or emotionally beat me into another realm. You need to be able to separate yourself. And I say that as someone who's experienced a lot of bullying to hate. I hate bullies. And when I say that, I mean it. I love to take on the bullies. I love to be the one that I don't need my fisticuffs. I don't need to be blah, 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 blah. I just need to be, that was all fist bumps for you too, by the way.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I also don't like bullies. So to get back to the question, I used to be the mom that said, you know what, just punch them back. Warn them once, warn them twice, but if they punch you, then punch them back. And I always told my kids, punch them, and if they phone me, and just always tell me the truth. And then I changed my whole perspective, and I tried to explain to them that that person hitting them, it's just insecure in their own way. Mm-hmm. So they need to speak to an adult, and if the adult doesn't do something about it, then I'll go to school and try and sort it out, but in a nice way, because I know when to flip my bitch switch. So yes, and I can control it now, because I know where people come from, because I've also seen things and done things the wrong way, or not the wrong way. And there's no wrong way, but just the more hurtful way. Yeah,
I agree. So, I agree. But let me ask you this, Ilsa. There is the hurtful way, but then there's I ran into my high school bully recently. And he ended up marrying somebody from another high school that I went to prom with back in high school. That's how small this world is.
Karma, bitch.
But he looked at me, and in his eyes, he never thought he was a bully. He just thought he was a teenager. So when him and I were talking, I was like, dude, you you made my life hard as hell. Like, high school sucked because of you. And he had no idea he made it that hard. But what's interesting is he just opened a restaurant in my town, and he reached out to say, hey, why don't you come out and check it out? And personally, I didn't want to. I wanted to be like, but I didn't. I was like, I went. And he even said, I haven't seen you in forever. He acted like we were old good buddies. And I just thought that was really unique. And I even said to him, like, you picked on me so bad. You and I got into a fist fight because you said you didn't like my haircut. Like, bro, like, what?
That hurts. How did he respond when you spoke to him about it?
At first, he was so caught off guard. Like I said, he didn't even know that he felt like he was bullying me. He thought he was just being a dumb kid. And when he got older, somebody said something. He actually responded very adult. And I was very happy. And I told him thank you for that, because our conversation went from being like, wow, you were a bully, and like, it hurt to, wow, I didn't mean to hurt you. And I really I wasn't trying to do that. And it was interesting to see his perspective. He had a very bad home life. He felt nobody liked him. And I have this huge personality. So he wanted to beat the crap out of me so that way people would notice him. And it was like, wow.
That's why I tell my kids, especially the little one, the other two's fine. They stand up for themselves. I don't have any issues, but the little one, it's her I'm trying to teach that just go and talk to them because maybe they don't have friends.
Yeah.
You see, because you don't know what you see that person for the little time that you are in a conversation with that person. You do not see. When I decided to get divorced, everybody said, how can you get divorced? You've got this picture perfect life. And I said, you guys don't go home with me. You do not see what goes on, how the fights are, how the conversations go.
Correct.
They don't see that. So you can't have an opinion on where I must be or what I must do. And it's in everybody's life like that.
And that's the thing is we don't realize it. You don't think of everybody else as what's going on at their house. The minute we walk away, we don't know what's going on. Like Brett Gordon in the background, Brian Tracy. Nobody knows what's going on in Brian Tracy's life. And he has a situation happening that I can promise you would drive the rest of us insane. And he's doing the best he can and keeping himself calm. Jane is dealing with situations in her life that I guarantee the rest of us might think, oh my God, how is she still standing? And Jane still shows up and puts her best foot forwards. Brett Gordon. I'm Brett's bully, so I can't really say anything nice about him. Just kidding. Brett Brett made the comment back here that he also had issues reading out loud. So people made fun of him for that in that instance to get back at me for being a smart nerd. And the truth is I don't read out loud. I hate reading out loud because of that. I usually will you stop clicking buttons? I see you out there. I know I'm watching you, Mr. Gordon. It kept coming up the same thing. It was I literally I like Brett because Brett puts his best foot forwards. He has trust. He has sincerity. He really, Jane, I didn't say anything that's not true about you. And you are 100% right. Brian is the Terminator. He is Brian the Terminator. He's Brian the Terminator Tracy. He's like, I'll be back. I've got my truck. Combine him with Back to the Future and his truck has to get to 88 miles an hour. I see a whole movie being made. But
I also see it, Highwayman. Yes.
So I watched a movie last night. I'm going to change the subject because we've gone complete bullying and everything. I'm going to change the subject. And today's guy is going to talk about cyberbullying and how he got into it. I'm going to ask him if he's met Chris Hansen, the guy who did the child pornography stuff and arrested a bunch of perverts. I'm going to ask him if he was on that team.
I would like to go pervert shooting. That should be an Olympic sport.
You know what? Pervert shooting. So in the state of Ohio, quick side thing, they were going to pass a thing where if you have any sexual anything from perverted to something else, they were going to have you get a special license plate. It was going to be a bright green license plate. And the reason they did it is because they were afraid people would start smashing cars. They were afraid people would start doing things inappropriately. They were really afraid that because if people spotted that green license plate, somebody would do something without knowing anything. And honestly, I'm not being weird with this, but I think that there needs to be regulations in place because these perverts are able to run for Congress, are able to run for Senate and the United States.
Exactly. Nobody talks about child prostitution. Nobody talks about child trafficking. Nobody talks about rapes and murders and all that. Nobody. And that the numbers on that's horrific. That things are horrific.
I want you to read this and think of the profound mindset this has. Okay, I would rather be the target for a bully than move them on to another person who may not be able to survive it.
I always stick up for the little ones as well. I don't care who it is. If it's my boss or anybody and somebody doesn't, I say what I say. If I think you're unreasonable and we're in a meeting, I will say, listen, that's not the way you talk to somebody. So I agree completely.
Mandy, we're here for
Yeah.
you, sweetie. I know you probably want to go be alone, but if you decide to just leave us on in the background, good vibes, good energy, good love to you, okay? We hope you're doing well, sending you positive. Look, Anna's already out there. She's like, got you. You're my girl, Mandy. Like, I see it. Have a good day, Miss Mandy. Everybody's cheering you on. So, guys, that is what I absolutely 100 is. I love that. I love that you're sharing that positivity when we saw somebody was down. So please, all of you know how much that makes my day start better. That makes this day that for Ilsa is ready to, I know, Mandy, all you can do is try. And when it starts to get too much, set it down. Just like if you were drinking an alcoholic drink, set it down. If you're having too much of something, then step away. Yeah, and step away. Don't let them get the best of you because you are amazing. Ilsa, you are a beautiful, a brilliant soul. Hey,
thanks, Anna.
Isn't she amazing? Like,
I got a girl crush. I got a girl crush on all the girls here.
I noticed that. Like, Ilsa's like, I never want to get married again because I've switched sides. I don't care. You do you. It's hard to have right? It's hard to have a smiling face when something is hurting you on the inside. She's 100% right. Yeah, 100%. Miss Mandy, positive vibrations sending towards you. And then Mandy, yeah, it is. 100%. Anna, thank you for doing that. Brett Gordon's in the background going, God, all these women encouraging each other. I don't know how to encourage myself. I know, Brett. Don't worry. I love you, buddy.
We got you.
Yeah, we got you. Ilsa's standing here going like, yeah. Ilsa, so with today's society, we've talked about bullying, we've talked about this, but think about online bullying nowadays. I don't know if I could handle it. Like Stuart's mentality here is amazing to me, 100%, that he would rather take on them bullying him than somebody who can't handle it. Like think of what that means. Like Java Delight is our floaty water wings that keep us afloat.
That is so cute.
I'm going to go
buy slogan.
99-cent water things tomorrow. I'm going to come on air like that. I feel like my heart has been ripped out. And today you're allowed to feel like that with what's going on with your daughter, Mandy.
You need to feel that. You need to feel the emotions.
Yes.
Let it go. Cry. Go through the emotions.
Yes. And then write it out, Mandy. Mandy, I'm going to say this with 100% pureness in my heart. You're a musician. You love to express your art in music. So do me a favor, write this out and turn it into a song because your pain is something other people are going to understand. And that is your superpower. Your superpower is where you find yourself in you, building up your best you. That could be from music to being a supermodel like Anna, to being a supermodel like Ilsa, to being a 100% weed connoisseur like Jane, or being a pain in the ass like Brett. Either way, you have to know what your superpower is and be you. Because, Mandy, I want to hear the song that comes out of you through this pain. And I don't mean that as a light thing. I mean it as in, like, that's where your pain is going to be able to put into a better place so you can help you. And I say that with love. You could come in floaties, Brandon. Aww. I would come in floaties. I'd be like, let's go. And I know how Anna is. Like, this girl is, like, traveling the world. She has this personality that she walks into a room, and she's like me. You light the room up. Hers is just way nicer. People look at her and they're like, oh, I want to be friends with her. Me, they're like, is the light just shining off his head? I can't tell. Like, and pain is temporary. Love is infinity. I love that.
Me too.
Like, Jane is jumping in. I love this. So cyberbullying. I don't think I could handle that. And if I was Stuart Lone Wolf, I don't know if I'd want to take it on for somebody else. And I don't mean that in a mean way, because when people get behind a computer or a screen, they feel they could say a lot more mean things. And there's no way for you to be able to help yourself. Like, imagine putting a picture up there and then having some random stranger just start ripping you apart. I wouldn't want to trend on that category, like my sexiness or all that, because like people are so judgmental, and I'm adorable, but fuck, man, I would not. Oh, I used my F word, but like I would not want to.
And I
was that a snort? Did I get my snort that I've been working on?
You might have. I do not dispute it at all. It might have been a snort.
I think that cyberbullying today has become such a thing where my niece is 9 and I hear her already crying about being bullied. My mom and dad are sitting there going, oh, just blow it off. But in high school, we couldn't blow it off. They're high school bullies, so they weren't able to blow off. And now the bullies have in school, online, every social media site you go to,
and do you think there's a lot of parents that don't realize that their kids are bullies?
Yes. I think that parents are bullies and they don't realize they're teaching their kids to be bullies. Is that
there
fair?
we go. That is fair. So I saw on LinkedIn the other day a lady tweet. I must just go and find it. And she actually said that she wants to go to schools in America and they need to put kindness as a curriculum because a lot of kids don't see kindness at home. They don't see love at home. They do not know what it is. They should teach things like that in school to kids. How do you respect someone? Because we as parents are examples for our kids.
Yes.
Because they do
100%.
what you show them, not what you tell them.
Right. So, actions speak louder than words, and we see that kids pick things up. I remember when my niece was so little, my sister moved back in with my parents for a little bit. I came over, and I had to watch my mouth. And you all know I've just by watching this that I really do have a foul mouth at times. But I didn't realize how much my niece was picking up at such a young age until she called, I think she called my sister a bitch. I don't remember the exact thing.
But that's not even a swear word.
It's in the Bible, so it counts. But she literally at 4 years old was picking up words that I saw that I wouldn't want her saying with not knowing the understanding of it. I have no problem with you dropping in some swear words as a kid, but they need to be put in the right context. If they're like,
exactly.
oh, this shit, that. It looks like you used two.
Is that that?
No, you used one in the first 5 minutes. You said something.
Did I? Wasn't that yesterday's show?
No, you literally started the show and we were 2 seconds in. It's been a bad day. You're good. That means you've used Brett's, okay? He's in the background. Oh man. But and then Stuart Lone Wolf, Brett, good point here. I'm with Stuart Lone Wolf. Even though I was bullied at times, there were other times when I stood up and defended others that were less able to defend themselves. Anna says kindness should be taught at schools because one kind gesture can make someone better, and that happened to me this week. Honestly, yes, and we say it all the time. It happens
every day, all day.
But where do you lead with kindness? Excuse me, as I hiccup, how do you lead with kindness? Is that holding a door and not expecting a thank you? Is that paying for the person behind you?
That's being consistent when you treat people with respect and checking what comes out of your mouth and checking how you get triggered because you do not know what the other person is going to say as soon as it comes out of the mouth. That's the only time you know what will happen in the present. So you need to always be compassionate. And you always, yes, we all get snappy. I still get snappy. But my tone of voice changed when I changed.
Do you have a mom voice?
I do have a stern voice, but I don't. But I've got a loud voice overall. I've got a real loud voice. So when I talk loud or I get excited, then everybody says, "Don't shout at me," and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not shouting, and that upsets me. It was half a one.
All right, so it's half a one. Okay, so 2.5.
Okay, 2.5.
All right.
So you have to be consistent in what it's like. Bob spreading the word of God. Bob can't do it one day and then rest for 5 and then do it one day. Things in life needs to be constant because there is so much change. The people and the way you treat people must be constant. You can't be a nice person. We all have a little bit of arsehole, but you can't be nice one day and out of the whole month you're only nice one day because then you're not a nice person. But a nice person having one bad day and being able to apologize and see why you reacted because you're also human. So you make mistakes and you do snap and we all have moods. It's just the way you react and how constant you are with how you treat people.
And
I can articulate kindness and acceptance far more eloquently than anyone can speak hate. Defeat the mind, not the body.
Stuart, Lone Wolf.
On the money. It's on the money.
100%. Stuart Lone Wolf coming through with like big ones today. He is just throwing knowledge at us. So also we have a very special guest today. He's coming up and he's actually going to talk to us about cyberbullying and a little bit more on in depth than what we're doing. He said he has a whole thing with fraud, perpetrated technology. He's down in Louisville, Kentucky with the Girl Scouts of Kentuckiana, and it fosters the internet of caring and cybersecurity among area kids. And this is an area that today's society are like 100%. There's so many people out there that we don't understand how this bullying is being done. And I cannot understand it to the point that I don't live in this generation that the kids are able to do this more freely, that they're able to do these things. So this is going to be a very good conversation. If you have any questions you'd like to have answered, please do not hesitate. Jay will be on with us in about the next 10 minutes, and we'll be able to dive in and have a wonderful conversation about this and learn how to A, protect ourselves with cyberbullying, and B, how to respond to them, while Ilsa makes her notes about how to bully me. Ilsa, so with this coming up, if one of your kids were being bullied and cyberbullied, how would you respond as a mom? Would you want to go create a fake account and start bullying the bully back? Mm-mm. Would you chase them down at the school and just be the mom that's crazy? Would you what? How would you respond?
That is a tough one because bully is bully and mental health is mental health and things people say. But how do I change? You need to change your kids' feeling about what the bully is saying. So again, I don't know. It's difficult. I might go and just bitch slap them, but I'm on my way there. What? Bad today. On my way there, I'll probably overthink it and get there and start talking. I'll try and sort it out a nice way, but sometimes if the cops need to be called, 911.
I guess I would also determine what the bullying is, and I don't mean to downplay it because
no, but you get serious. You must get different grades of bullying.
Yes, and how do you know what it is? And then today, reading something from somebody, I just recently somebody got in trouble for literally sending messages to a person cyberbullying, and I forget the celebrity's name because they were like a no-name like YouTube star, and they were literally bullying somebody and told them to go kill themselves. The minute those words come out of your mouth or written, you are bullying. You are threatening. You are thinking you are better, bigger, and more important than somebody else. And guess what? That is where there needs to be the police. That is where we need to see these change. You know?
No one has the right to tell you to go and kill yourself. You have no right to say that to someone. How do
Correct.
You just say it's one of the most horrible sentences that I think exists is go kill yourself.
Think about what that means. It means that nobody's going to miss you. Nobody's going to care. And that person's putting something negative in your mindset about you. And that's not true. It's none of that.
Do you think when you murder somebody, you go to court and you get locked up?
Right.
That's what happens. When you tell somebody to go and kill themselves and they kill themselves, they should also classify it as murder because it's your fault for doing that. For breaking someone down so bad that they know that I'm can't do this anymore. I'm going to kill myself now. I mean, that must be one of the scariest things to go through.
When someone says they want to kill themselves to somebody telling somebody that, it's such a dark moment in someone's life that they're really striving to know who they are, that for them to be in that spot is completely just a broken-hearted person that really is trying to find like what's going on. They feel they're not worthy, they're not loved, and to have another person say that to them would be something that is so negative, so mean, and so harsh that those are the words we need to learn how to flow through us and leave us, while also making sure we open up our hearts to being able to know who we are. Because that's a hard thing.
And it happens. People think it doesn't. It hasn't happened to me, so it doesn't happen. It's the numbers again is horrific on suicides.
The numbers are suicides. If we're gonna do this topic, we're gonna take it into like other areas. How veteran suicide is up right now. How about the fact that
teenage suicides,
police officer suicide. Did you know that police have one of the higher suicide rates right now than any other job? Like they're not the highest. Dentists are still the highest, which is interesting to me. But like dentists have a high suicide rate. A very high suicide rate, apparently. Like, would you want to be looking at everybody's mouth all day and hearing and smelling all that breath? Like, good Lord, I'd want to like hide from the world too. Like, but I'm kidding. But like, no, for real, like suicide rates are on the rise. And instead of us having conversations about that, we talk about other things. We don't talk about how we can help each other. And when someone says they're feeling down, they're feeling sad, they really don't know who they are. How do we touch their heart to say, hey, I'm here for you. We can't just take on their pain because you're never going to fix it, but you can
be there. That's all they sometimes need is for you to be there, because pulling yourself out of a dark hole like that, it's very difficult. When you feel that there's nothing, it's difficult.
Yes. And I think that a lot of us, as Sherry says, had been at that spot some time ago. I was actually sitting in front of a psych facility. It was after my mom died, dad's stroke, and cancer for the first time. And that feeling of emptiness alone. Sherry, I'm sorry you had to go through that. I really, really, really am.
Me too.
That feeling sucks. That energy that's in you at that moment is one that it's so deafening because you don't hear anything else around you. You just hear the pain. And that is something that I think we all have established at least once in our life, that feeling of complete empty pain and sadness. And that's what we have to remember from ourselves and our perspective, is that moment of pain like that is a push through to keep us going in another direction. It's meant to be. Go ahead, Elsa. I see you're ready to jump down my throat. Do it.
I think that's why it's so important to share our stories, so that the people that are in that dark hole can realize that they're not alone. Lead by example. If you tell that person, and people don't want to die, it's the last. They just want to be happy. They want to be happy, and they want to be loved, and they don't want to be abused, and they don't want to be bullied, and they just want to live their life in peace and happiness.
And we think we know what that happiness is, but really everybody has their own version of happiness. And
that's why only you can make yourself happy. Someone else can't make you happy.
Bingo, 100%. Even if you and Anna run off together and I have to understand that my broken heart, you know, Sarah probably join you three. Like I'd lose all
Jamaica, here we come.
I hope you're all ready for that.
Girls weekend.
You three together would be an interesting combo. I don't know how that weekend would turn out. There'd be a lot of like stories that came back after that. I don't know if I could handle the three of you together. The smile behind Elsa's face. So Elsa, we have a very good topic coming on. Oh, Brett just said we also need to learn. I like this, Stuart and Brett. We also need to learn to defend ourselves. This world is not and will never be a utopia. We must build our life and leadership. Toolkits give us with more ways to cope with challenges of life. And you hate me reading out loud, and you made me read that sentence all connected. Jeez, the weed. Thanks, Brett.
Me to I'll read it for you. When someone thinks
Go ahead.
When someone thinks they have no way out, show them understanding, not a door. Exactly.
God, Stuart's on fire today. Stuart,
he's on fire today.
Like 100. Like, Stuart. Stuart. You are one of a kind, Stuart, and I'm honored you're here. So, I'm going to hit a couple things really quick on, and that way we can bring our guest in because we have a really cool guest today. His name is Jay Smith. He is a full stack web developer for about 12 years, a digital forensic analysis for about 7 years. He's been a private investigator for the last 3 years, aka he's a badass. He has recognized a need for cybersecurity, see, badass, investigation and protection in our area, and after several cases highlighted a gap in the capacity of law enforcement, had to deal with issues of anonymous online harassment, stalking, and fraud. It perpetuated using technology and strived to fill the gap while also working with Louisville area schools and the Girl Scouts of Kentucky. I'm going to mess this up, even though I know it's Kentuckians, to foster interest in careers in cybersecurity among area kids. He continued to work in development on apps and projects that aim specifically to increase privacy and online safety for users. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a phenomenal interview that we will be doing today. I really am excited that everybody's here. Do me a favor, say hello to Mr. Jay Smith.
Hi, my name is Brandon. And over the past year, the Delight Cafe team and I have traveled across the U.S. researching this rapidly growing industry of CBD products. What we have found throughout the industry were products that were inconsistent in dosage and used ingredients that weren't even lab tested. Products with chalky textures, bitter aftertaste, and worst of all, confusion among the CBD consumers. That's why we created Delight Cafe. A 15 milligram lab tested, all natural, water soluble hemp CBD powder pack. It's odorless, colorless, and tasteless. Add it to your favorite drink of choice, wherever, whenever, on the go. Quickly find your calm, your balance, and your delight when you need it most.
Jay, it is so good to meet you, sir. How are you doing today?
Very well. Very well. How are you?
I am well, thank you. So I have one thing I promised my mom I would do right off the bat. And I was reading your bio and practicing. She goes, "Who are you interviewing today?" She was so excited. And I go, "Oh, I'm interviewing Jay Smith." No, nothing else. I just said it like that. And she goes, "That's a fake name, and I want you to tell her." I'm like, "All right, Mo. I got you, Mom." Jay, thank you for joining us today, buddy. I'm up in Cleveland, Ohio. You're in Louisville, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Do you go to the Baseball Hall of Fame a lot?
I've been several times, especially having kids. I mean, it's a great museum. It's a really, as far as, tourist attractions go, of course, we've got bourbon on every street corner, but it's nice to dry out a little bit and go see something that's not quite as inebriated.
Understand. So, Jay, you have got a really unique story from the security to cybersecurity. Mm-hmm. Why did you get involved in this? What made you get into cybersecurity?
It was cool. I was a self-taught web developer, and I was doing a course on SQL, and I stumbled on a specific attack when I was trying to craft a web app, and from there it was just a rabbit hole I couldn't dig out of.
Really?
Yeah, it really fit with my ADD brain and finding the answer that's always hidden and very difficult to find, but it's always there.
Has Chris Hansen reached out to you yet?
No. He's always had a pretty solid game plan for catching people. I don't think he wants to mess with the secret sauce.
No, he's got his thing. Dang it! I just wanted to see how close you were. 6 degrees or 7 degrees from Kevin Bacon. I was seeing how many degrees you were from him.
Chris Hansen is probably closer to 10. I'm not very well known outside of Louisville.
You're on the Delight Cafe today, and now we're going to blow you up. Chris Hansen's going to be reaching out to you soon.
Well, hopefully for a good reason.
Yeah, for the good reason, not to have you come to one of his house parties.
No, God.
So, Jay, what has been your experience with this? Have you seen a change in bullying because of cyberbullying?
Absolutely. The anonymous nature of online and really with the proliferation of apps like Text Now, and other apps that allow you to fake your phone number and spin up an email address within moments have really empowered people. You know, I make the joke sometimes trying to make light of it that when I was growing up, most of what people say to each other would get you punched in the face. So you learn really quickly what you can and can't say to people. These days, people are empowered and they find a megaphone, and it gets very challenging. And what I try to convey to especially parents of kids or teenagers who are accused of this bullying, whether or not they think they're using an app that deletes everything or it's temporary, none of that is temporary. If it gets to the point where a family lawyer has contacted my firm, we're going to find that stuff. And it's just a matter of a court order with that service provider. They do save that stuff, and they are very, even if it's Google or Facebook, they are very receptive to a court order. They do it very quickly.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that, like, for real. Have you noticed that cyberbullying is going in the wrong direction? It's going on an upward trend. It's happening more and more, or are people becoming more aware of it?
I think people are becoming more aware of it. I think that schools are starting to fold in some of that curriculum and some of that understanding. As the schools themselves are becoming a lot more interconnected, many public schools have apps and have chat features within their school too, so they can also put controls in to keep that kind of stuff down. And where it hits the Wild West is when it's after school and it's Instagram, or it's, you know, one of these other open apps, or, you know, a teenager who enjoys getting on TikTok and putting on dance videos, and a bunch of other people will pile on just for no valid reason and shame them or whatever.
Yes.
I think it's just I don't know that it's more or less. I think it's just different, and it evolves as each new kind of app becomes the big deal.
Yeah. Go ahead, Elsa.
So let me just try and explain it so my language doesn't leave me halfway through. You know, when someone goes missing, they say you need to wait 24 hours before you can go to the police. By what time must the people come to you? How do you know? When do they know they must approach you now, and that it's not a joke anymore and it's serious?
So unfortunately, most of the time it's already gotten well beyond a problem. And what I try to do is educate people on things that they should be doing from the get-go. So it's not so difficult to solve their problem when we get involved. We generally get involved after a family has engaged an attorney. So they're spending real money. So they have a very significant problem that the schools or the police have not, could not, or will not address. So they'll engage us. And when I do talk in the schools, and we'll be doing a bunch of events here in Louisville in October for Bullying Awareness Month, what I try to give people is just, here's a general list when you're dealing with this stuff. And it's pretty simple. It's, you know, and I know we've always told kids this. I was told this as a kid: don't engage, right? If somebody's bothering you, harassing you, saying mean things, just don't engage. And that'll defang them. I know that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I was a kid who was bullied. I know exactly hearing that from teachers, and it's like, okay, you know, that doesn't help me when I walk around the corner and he punches me, right?
Bingo. Thank you.
I also wanted to know, how do you neutralize a bully?
The main way to well, when we're talking about cyberbullying, the best way to neutralize is to report to the platform. The platform, they have very strict rules, and they do not want to end up in court for not taking care of this issue. You report to the platform and you save everything. Screenshot everything from the and I know it's difficult from the first one, because on the first one you may not realize that this is going to keep going. Right. But as soon as you recognize that there's a pattern of problems that you're going to have to solve, whether it's with officials or with a court case, start saving everything. And there's actually a free app that's phenomenal, written by another cybersecurity expert. It's called Hunchly Mobile.
Can you spell that for me?
Yeah, it's HunchlY Mobile. And what that app allows you to do is save screenshots, save text messages, save emails right out of your phone. And then you can package them all up and email them directly to an attorney or an investigator like myself. When you're getting to the point where you need a court order to stop somebody from what they're doing, the more evidence you have and the more documentation you have and the more organized it is, the better your case is going to be. So that's why I encourage anybody, if you're dealing with something like this, start saving that stuff right now.
I'm not a parent.
Mm-hmm.
Ilsa has kids. You've mentioned you have kids.
Mm-hmm.
I have a niece. I have one niece. My sister's not having any more kids, but kids don't usually go to their parents when being bullied. They go to a family member, to a teacher, and stuff like that. Being an uncle, how could I be the best version of that? Like, I'm not going to tell her, like, oh, just turn around and walk away. I'm not going to tell her, go punch him in the face. That's not, like, the best advice either way. Like, the walking away makes you get made fun of and all that. And then, like you said, walk around the corner and you get punched in the face.
Right.
How can I give her good advice on where to go? Like, Hunchley Mobile's one, but, like, what else could I do that would be able to provide her comfort and me comfort that she's going in the right direction?
Honestly, the best thing to do that we fail at for the most part is to be proactive. Because that's another one of the main steps is don't try to do this alone. There's shame involved. You already feel bad about yourself when someone is putting you down or attacking you. So there's shame involved in there. And before this becomes an issue, or even after, any time is a good time, especially with a younger kid, to let them know if anything is bothering you. If you don't feel comfortable telling me, tell Uncle Brandon, and that's fine. And he won't tell me, but he might be able to help you.
Correct.
Because you don't want to betray trust, because I remember that well. You don't want your parents getting involved because that might make it worse, that kind of thing. Tell a school counselor, tell somebody. And if honestly, you tell the kids, like, you're going to tell somebody who doesn't do anything about it. That's going to happen. And
I must say I'm lucky. My kids tell me everything. So
you are fortunate,
always
but that's also what you fostered. That's the environment that you fostered, that they're comfortable for that.
Yes, so they will come to me and say, listen, this one is saying this. And I always go, okay, but how did you get to this point? Because my daughter is a teenager. I mean, she's 19, so she was in high school. How did it get to this point? Because a lot of times when this happens, especially in schools, it's because both parties are fighting with each other, and then one just escalates with the attack. And how does that? I don't know. Yeah,
and that's where conflict resolution comes in, and that's a really, really well thought out question to ask your teenager if they're having an issue like that. And what it really boils down to is looking at the laws in your locality and seeing what meets the limits of harassment.
Okay.
And it's generally directed, it's targeted, and it's ongoing. So even sexual harassment in the workplace, that dividing line is when you tell somebody, I'm not comfortable with what you're saying.
Yes.
Right true. There, anything after that usually meets the legal limit of harassment. And if it's going to continue to the point where you have to sue somebody, documenting that date that you made it clear and you told the vice principal or whoever that this is not okay and it should not continue to happen. Everything after that just feeds the fire.
That makes sense. Like, I think that's creating a boundary, though, and that's what people are afraid of. Is like that boundary is one that once you put it out there, it's almost like you're responding back with that. Like if they're not understanding, you're creating that to keep yourself safe, keep yourself in a good mindset. It's almost intimidating to a bully or whatever. I think that as COVID has gone on, I've seen more and more kids become, I don't want to say depressed, but more at home and feeling the anxiety of what's going on in the community and the world.
Yep.
Have you seen any changes in the internet on bullying because of kids being home? Has it increased? Has it decreased? What's going on with that? And how has COVID changed your job?
COVID hasn't really impacted my job as an investigator as much because we are dealing with individual cases in a town of 700,000 people. So, it happens. I don't really see the trends at large on the entire internet. It's almost impossible to wrangle that and say this is what's happening and this is higher or this is lower.
Yeah.
But there has been, as there is every year, there's a whole lot more reliance on technology. So I really couldn't stay, whether it's more or less due to COVID. I would say that people being forced not to be around each other seems to make the caseload a little less. But
that makes sense too. I would have thought that the bullies not being able. I'm picturing a bad home situation, and they have nowhere to displace their anger, their anxiety, and they take it out on other people that they bullied at school, just on the internet. That's what I was picturing. But I think the being at home and all that, I think you're right. Like that might be what's not leading into that as much.
We must actually check if the cyber bully maybe went up and physical bully at school because the kids don't go, they went down.
Right.
That can always be a possibility.
That's true. Now, how did you get involved with the Girl Scouts? I have to ask this because you don't look like you would be a Girl Scout to me.
Actually, it's funny because they do have T-shirts for any male volunteers that says "Proud to be a Girl Scout."
Oh, that's awesome! That is really cool.
So I really just when I was just a web app coder, I would volunteer with Code Louisville, which is a government funded organization to help adult learners transition to their career. And so I really enjoy teaching. It's really kind of one of my fundamental skills and things I enjoy doing. So I reached out to the public schools, and then a local Girl Scout troop leader sent me a message and said, "Hey, this one police officer gave me your name because she couldn't do it. Can you come and speak to my scouts about cybersecurity, because they have badges?" So the Girl Scouts at every level have 3 cybersecurity badges. So one thing led to another, and I began working with the Girl Scouts of Kentuckiana, and now we're doing it all online. So all Girl Scouts, if they're available, can jump on and do these workshops that I create. We do 1 badge level per month, but daisies all the way through the ambassadors, they have cybersecurity badges, and it's awesome. Because one thing I really stress is cybersecurity is a field that really thrives on diversity. Attackers come from everywhere in the world, from every socioeconomic group. So it's really, really important that cybersecurity reflects the world at large. So having young women who are very, very good at this stuff join these ranks is super, super important.
It really is. Have you had? He is in it for the cookies.
I do like the cookies.
I do too. That was a good one, Stuart. I love it. I'm on your website right now, and I'm looking through everything in the background. I meant to pull that in here right before I said that. My bad. But like, I'm looking at this, and I see that it says veteran-owned company, and I'm curious how being a veteran is able to actually help you with this, because you're able to understand. You've been trained in a different way than other people to look at people and help everybody. And that's just the military's way. Has that influenced how you actually have built this company to be able to help people with security? You know, that you took that Army, military, veteran mindset and brought it into this? Certainly. People don't see it very often, but my tattoo right there, IGY6, I got your 6. Hold on. I want to pull that up. I'm sorry. It's hard. That was my fault. Yeah. Boom. Yeah, so, IGY6, love it. Yeah, that means I got your 6. So what that is that's a visual cue to people dealing with depression, PTSD, and that's why it's in a military type font. And it starts with the semicolon from the semicolon project, which means nothing's ever fully done. There you go. Exactly. My blood brother right there. Right so there, buddy. That basically, when you go to shake hands with somebody, and it is directed more towards veterans, particularly those dealing with PTSD, but it's for everybody. And we need people in the world who are willing to just absorb some negative energy if it's coming off somebody or if they're dealing with some stuff. And as the world hopefully starts opening back up and people start this getting the bins, releasing this energy from being cooped up and not being around people, hopefully we can direct that in a positive direction and not a negative direction. But yeah, the military was very fundamental in giving me the self-confidence to know how to deal with bullies, not necessarily with my fists, but how to deal with them in a direct manner and to let people know this is the situation. This is what happens if it continues down this path, and this is how it should go. how do you handle your bullies? You seem like a bigger dude. I wouldn't want to be your bully, like in any way. But how do you handle this as the bully side, and then how do you handle it from the cyber side? Because that's two very different growing ups.
Sure.
Yeah.
So cybersecurity is the tools. It's just the tool set that I use to help uncover who is behind an anonymous account, or who's sending all these messages, or who sent that malicious attachment that caused your computer to get infected. That's just the tool set. Really, the investigative side, and what I do when I'm dealing with this situation, I'm not really the counselor. I'm not the police officer. I'm not the lawyer. I'm really the technician who's giving the family everything they need to put a stop to this. And that's what I do, is I'm basically providing evidence. But I will discuss with them why it's better not to continue responding. It's even worse if you start spinning up your own fake accounts and trying to have this flame war. That's all that's going to do is hurt you when it's time to put this in front of a judge.
And that's actually a good point, because a lot of people think, oh, I'll come up with my own fake account. Right. Oh, I can look at what they're doing through this. And that just creates, it's like the wildfires going in California right now. All you're doing is creating another fire. You're not putting anything out.
Precisely.
With that being said, though, as a parent, how do you recommend your kids put that fire out? Like, if your kids came home and go, Dad, I'm being bullied. Here's this. Look at this. What is your first thing you do as a dad who does this as a job? Because you could easily, being a tech guy, be like, all right, hold on. And you hack their system. And then next thing we know, they're whatever, No,
I definitely don't want to set the expectation that I'm going to break federal law in order to deal with this situation.
Fine.
Much like Ilse said, I want to understand the entire situation.
Yes.
And rather than I'm going to stomp down the street and punch that kid's dad in the face, that it's more, all right, what's surrounding this? What is really happening? Because conflict resolution is really the best way to do this with the best outcome. Because if it continues to escalate and I engage a lawyer, well, I'm already out that much money, so I'm going to be seeking that much. Yeah. And you're taking time away from my job, and you're tormenting my child. So I'm going to be coming after you for a significant amount of money. So why don't we get this settled in the best manner before? Because once you get in that room and have that conversation, chances are you're going to hear more of the story.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why conflict resolution as a group is the best way to do it. But I grew up with kids where there was not going to be any conflict resolution. I understand that. And families who suck it up, buttercup, that kind of thing. Okay. If we have to be contentious about it, that's when I need to engage a family attorney. That's because ultimately your child's mental health is what's the most important. It really is. So whether you do it with a soft hand and conflict resolution, or the tip of the spear with a private investigation firm, resolving that issue is what you need to do as a parent.
Can you tell us an interesting story of something that you have, or like significant story about what?
Yeah, I can't get too specific with most stories, just because I have an NDA.
Anonymously is fine.
Yeah. So we have dealt with a little bit of human trafficking issues, particularly using social media. You have to be very, very careful with your teenagers on social media, because grooming happens pretty quick. And it's not something that's relegated to a certain type of area or a certain city. It happens everywhere. And in the course of investigating other courses or other cases, we've come across, prostitution being advertised on social media. And in digging further into that case, because our case was tangential to it, uncovering some human trafficking. And that's it kind of sort of is related to what I said before. Like, there is no app, there is no technology you're using where things really are deleted. I know Snapchat, I can send them this and it's going to be gone. It's not gone. It's just sitting in the server at Snapchat waiting for a court order. I can use this burner app to create a fake text number to bombard them with texts. In order to send a text message, it has to come from a real phone number. Whether it displays a fake phone number or not, it came from your phone number, and those logs are going to show that. I wish I had cooler stories, but every story is so unique.
No.
I don't want to run afoul of any of my clients.
No, and that's I was kind of that was a good question, Elsa. I just in my heart was
when he said child trafficking, because I actually wanted to know why is there not investigators on the social media apps looking for these things on a daily basis?
There actually are.
Are there? Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it's so much more than volunteers can handle. But the NCMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they're constantly monitoring. The FBI is monitoring a lot. A lot of people do a lot of things,
yes,
online, and it's if you have not run afoul of the right person or to the right level, then you may get away with it for quite a while. But as soon as I make the analogy when I'm in school, if I hacked this little gas station, this mom and pop down the corner, I'd probably get away with it. Something wouldn't happen. If I did that to the Fifth Third Bank right next to it,
God.
Exactly. So it's only and along the same lines, it's companies or any company out there that says they're unhackable or they have a product that's unhackable. Everything is exploitable given time, motivation, and money. So that's what's to keep in mind.
With that being said, you mentioned the word grooming and how kids can be getting groomed. Like I said, I have no kids, but how can a parent know what is grooming, and how can a parent know if their kids are being groomed? If I'm using this incorrectly, please make sure I use the right words.
No, that is. So you got to watch for secretive behavior around the device.
So like them turning away, stuff like that.
Exactly. If for a fact they're deleting all their texts every night, or they're hiding the use of their phone, or they're not doing it in a group setting or whatever, you can. Now, I do not encourage parents to put spyware type apps on their kids' devices. Okay. They're out there, and in certain situations, they're probably appropriate. As far as my ethics go, I don't believe that's the right way to do it. I think you're giving them a bad lesson about their privacy moving forward into the future, and that oversight is okay, and that somebody should be watching what they do on their device. I don't particularly care for those apps, but I can understand why parents would want to use them for sure. But that's so again, much like when we discussed your niece, the best thing when it comes to grooming is having those conversations regularly and before there's an issue. Helping them understand, hey, do you really know who you're talking to? Like, if you haven't met somebody in person, why do you need to interact with them online? Because you really have no idea who they are.
Correct.
And it starts out slow. It's that foot in the door phenomenon that's a staple of psychology 101 courses at every university out there. Yeah. Is they'll ask for something simple and stupid. It's like asking for a paperclip and then turning that into a sports car kind of thing. The foot in the door phenomenon is what they use with kids to slowly groom them. And then once they get them to do something embarrassing that they can hold over them, they blackmail them. So, it's like, oh, look at your wrists and that kind of thing. And it just escalates and escalates. And then once they get them to send them something compromising, then they blackmail them saying, I'm going to show this to your family if you don't take more pictures. And that's how it's, and that's why it's called grooming, because it's methodical. So you really have to have a pulse with your child. I wouldn't encourage, spyware apps on your kids' devices, but I would encourage regular conversations about how these things happen. And there's nothing wrong with pulling up a Google story about this happening and discussing the story with them and making sure they understand this doesn't only happen to not smart kids or poor kids, or it happens to everybody. It happens to valedictorians. It happens to everybody because that need for human connection drives a lot of this stuff. And when someone's being so nice to you, it's easy to overlook what they may be doing beneath the surface.
Anything else? I got one. I'm lined up.
No, you can go. You can.
It's your turn. I didn't want to be rude.
No.
How do you? I'm gonna ask this, and it's gonna sound like a repetitive question, but like, how do you start that conversation? Like, if my sister is distracted on her phone by her social media and her TikTok, because we all know as parents and uncles and aunts that we get distracted and we don't even see because our kids are playing on YouTube themselves and everything, right? How can we break that and have that conversation? Like, especially because the first time you do that, your kid's probably not going to respond in a positive way. They're going to be like, I don't you trust me and stuff like that. That's not really good. But like, why? How would a parent be able to have that conversation? Or even better yet, how do we have that parent whose kid is bullying? Like I want to know how to talk to people about the bullying so parents break that down and don't instill that into their kids. Is that a better way of asking that?
Yeah, I mean that's it's kind of two separate things, but it has to be intentional. So
yes,
you know, it's kind of like the fire alarm that you have on the third floor of your house is the only one with batteries, and the fire starts in the basement. You know, if you really have to want to be ahead of this issue, because it's the kind of thing where that may be a little uncomfortable. Yeah, it's not something your teenager will roll their eyes. It may be a little uncomfortable, but a really good prompt would be to discuss one of these stories, and you can Google it and find a story of just, you know, Google, you know, high school, you know, kid, you know, found and stuff like that, and just say, hey, I want to talk about this story. You know, you use TikTok. This kid used TikTok. Did you see this happening? Have you seen somebody say this? Because they're usually, when a tragedy like that happens, there's usually eventually a story that breaks down pretty well where, you know, they got that information or where they were groomed or something like that. And it's a conversation. And once you have that first conversation, yeah, it may not be comfortable, but you know, as parents, that's kind of our job, is uncomfortable conversations. So after that, they become a lot less uncomfortable.
And as parents, go ahead, Elsa. My next question I wrote in the comments. That way I don't forget it.
Mine is just actually also just a comment. I think we should get Kim Carr and Jay together to work on something, because she does the I Can Help.
Yes.
Yes, with the cyber bullies, to try and prevent that, and people report them and stuff. So maybe they should collaborate.
Honestly, Jay, that was Ilsa. High five! 5 life points for Ilsa. Boop. Don't worry, Jay. You'll get some too before the end of the
That's all right.
And you still have an F word.
You got tell him about the rule, Elsa. Tell him how he gets one.
One F word for the whole show.
Oh,
I'm on Monday.
Use it.
I'm on Monday, so don't do what I do. One F word for it.
Is that an FCC regulation, or is that just an arbitrary rule you all have for the show?
We don't want to offend the kids if they pop up, and
you have to use it in the proper context. We usually celebrate. Like, you can't be like, oh, F, and then nothing else. Like, we like it to have like these mother effers are out here doing these things. Like, we want to celebrate the F word, and when we get it, it usually is fun.
You got to respect it.
Thank you. Like, you get it. So with this all going on, is there apps? Is there a spot where parents can go to actually, I don't want to say track their phones, but where their kids are, I accidentally pulled out, where they're maybe this is happening more, and they should know, like, hey, watch out. Like, I'm going to use YouTube and my niece again as an example, because she gets on there a lot. And when she does the tourney thing, it's usually she's watching something she shouldn't, which we have seen be many, many things lately. And it's not like conversations, but it's like scary things that a 9-year-old wouldn't normally watch. Sure. And then very inappropriate things that a 9-year-old wouldn't watch. And so is there spots where you're noticing kids get groomed, I wanted to use the right word, more than they are recruited more than others?
I mean, it's any social media app. It's going to be different based on the area. What I would be, for one over-encompassing thing to watch for, it'd be the text messaging, SMS messaging, or any app that has a messaging component. that has its own built-in messaging, which most of them do. The thing with text message is you can look over your mobile bill and look at them all. And you can see them. But again, it's where do you want, where is your personal comfort line with oversight? I would, and it's kind of an age driven thing too, and I don't want to set any arbitrary rules because everybody has a different level for that. Maybe if they're under 10 years old, they only use a device at the kitchen table with everyone else around.
It's a good rule.
It could be, but it may be totally wrong for some people.
Correct.
So, you may have a situation where, both parents work and the kid's alone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
In that case, it's something to consider. Maybe you want some oversight. You can go into your router on the dashboard and actually limit internet usage during certain blocks of hours. You can do that. True. I've done it. As a punitive measure, I've shut off the internet at 10 p.m. because I tell everybody to go to bed, and I don't want to go around the house trying to catch people on devices. So just go in the router and remove internet traffic after 10 p.m.
I did that to my parents.
I don't know. I really don't know if this is a dumb question, and if it is, I'm very sorry. But have you guys worked on criminal cases with police, or is it just normally civil? Do you call it civil cases, or defamation of character, or that? Or have you had criminally charged cases as well?
A few. In most cases, if we're dealing with a criminal case, we're dealing with criminal defense. So an attorney will engage us to help prove something is or isn't true, or a lot of times take forensic images of somebody's computer or their phone to prove that they were either at some place when they said they were, or received a message from someone telling them to do something, things like that. The law enforcement generally doesn't engage a private investigator, at least not in this area, unless it's just an all hands, Amber Alert type thing, and they just want everyone's help possible.
Okay.
Because they have their own, they have their own forensic people.
Which, do you notice that today's society is using more internet? Obviously we are. Like, we're using more internet and all that, but it makes it harder and harder to be able to keep track of what's going on. How can a parent feel the most comfortable without sneaking in their room, taking their kid's phone, looking at it in the middle of the night, to having spyware on their kids' stuff?
Yeah, that's the impossible question, right?
Yeah.
What I would say is the most important thing is just the open communication before there's an issue. After there's an issue, of course, my partner and I can go find anything. You can engage a lawyer. Problem is, in the worst case, you may be dealing with a child who hurts themselves. So, and there's no good outcome there for either side. There may be some retribution at the end, but okay, that you would much rather have your kids safe and sound. So that's why the communication up front is so important, to not, and of course, hindsight's 2020. If you're dealing with a situation like that, where your child was pushed to the edge and had to change schools or hurt themselves, and, you end up taking the other family to court and you get a big settlement, and it's a hollow victory because you just dealt with months or even years of torment and your child being miserable, and there's going to be long-term effects from that. So why not do everything you can before to stop that? Yeah.
Like, guys,
previously you said you guys have an anti-bully campaign coming up now in October. How can people get involved with that if they want to help with it?
So October is Bullying Awareness Month, and we are working with the Jefferson County Public Schools here in Louisville. And we're going to have a whole bunch of talks with parents and students. The JCPS is actually sending out forms to parents right now, asking them kind of what are their concerns, what are their interests, so we can craft the talk around what they want to talk about. But that's really, it's a local blitz. But anybody, I would encourage anybody who wants to help to reach out to their schools and say, hey, I know October is bullying awareness. What are we doing?
Yeah.
You know, can we have somebody come talk to the kids or the parents about how these things happen on social media or how to deal with it? You know, we'll be putting, as soon as we get some of these talks done, it'll be on the internet for free. I don't, you know, we're doing it for free. It's really preventative measures because, you know, we've got plenty of work. I would prefer less work in this area, to be perfectly honest. Really,
this is one business you don't want booming.
you don't, and there's plenty of investigative work to be done. It's not something that we need to kind of hide behind our back because we would lose business. There's plenty of business. There's always going to be. If I've got to deal with adults harassing each other much more than kids, so much the better. It's usually a cleaner issue, and it's not as emotionally driven.
Have you noticed adults are being more understanding of cyberbullying and asking questions about it, or is it kind of just on the side still?
Yeah, it's not a major issue right now. When it comes to adults, the major issues are platform censorship or non-censorship or threatening behavior in person or online between adults, or, you know, anonymous reviews on your business. Somebody doesn't like something you said or doesn't like you as a neighbor, excuse me, and creates a bunch of fake accounts to really target your personal business. Those are some of the cases we work with too. But as far as bullying, it's one of those things where if it's not your kid, people just don't pay a lot of attention to it.
Makes sense. Sadly,
and that's why we want to talk about it, because we want them to deal with it up front, so maybe they can prevent that.
How does Brett Gordon makes a good question here? Today's schools, even as early as kindergarten, need to start educating kids about the use of technology from the social and socialization perspectives. This type of training is also needed for parents. And I think that's a great point.
Yeah.
But where do you start with that? I would turn to you, Jay, and say, all right, Jay, when you're doing these talks and you're going to go do all this, you could send it to me. And I could put it up on the Lake Cafe's website. That way we share it and all that. But that's just one thing. How are we able to actually I will do that, just so you know. I want to do that, to provide that for people. But like, how do you, as a parent and all that, get started with these things? Because your kids are going to know way more about it than you will. Yes. Your kids are going to be picking it up at school and laughing. I remember sex ed class. We made jokes about it and then went and played outside and experimented.
Yep.
But like, that was just a joke, maybe. But like, you know what I'm saying? With the tech side of this, how do we teach the parents this? Because I would not know even where to start with my kid. And like, we've talked about a little bit, but like, this really is a topic that I think parents need to be able to have a better understanding of. And how can, as a cybersecurity, we do that?
It's, you know, honestly, it's what you're going to spend your time looking at. So rather than doom scrolling Twitter or looking at Instagram for an hour or watching a YouTube rabbit hole for 3 hours, set aside some time and take some time to make sure you understand how the rules of Instagram work. Like, look at their terms of service. Look at what they do when you report harassing behavior. You know, if somebody's doing something using a fake account on Instagram, and okay, you get that one reported and taken down. They start up another one. It's only so many before Instagram realizes, oh, these are all coming from the same IP address. This is the same person. And they will do that if it gets to a certain level. But when it comes to the point made into chat, when it comes to getting the schools doing it, so public schools in particular, they have a very regimented, structured curriculum. And what you have to do is make it important at the school board or with the principal that this be added. And what you would be surprised is if somebody reaches out in the community to somebody like me or somebody in their community that specializes in this, they'll go to the school and talk about it for free.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
All over the country.
You will find, and actually the cybersecurity community is really big on it, because we have a very heavy privacy component to what we do, because people not locking down their digital life is how they get exposed and how companies get exposed. So you can find volunteers that will come talk to kids about this just about anywhere. And if not, you can get people like myself or in another city that'll do it on Zoom.
That is what I think is phenomenal, is you're actually putting yourself out there to be like, hey, Here's what we're doing. Here's how we're doing it. Like, connect with us.
Yeah.
Jay, what would be something that you would want every parent to know about cybersecurity and cyberbullying? Like, that's a tough question because of the fact that you have kids and all that, but like, what would be something you'd want them to know to protect A, themselves, and B, their kids?
What we started with is to understand you don't just have to accept things, much like, your home address being all over the internet. Most people are just like, whatever, my information's out there, so be it. It is what it is. You don't have to accept that. You don't have to accept the idea that things are deleted and can't be found. That's not true, regardless of the website. So what parents really need to understand is just that foundational. If something's going on, hopefully you've got that relationship with your kid where you're going to find out about it. But if not, hopefully you've got the relationship with someone else and that's in a lot of situations, parents know their kids. Like,
right.
I can tell them this, they're not going to tell me. So find that proxy person. They have an aunt or uncle they'll tell anything to. Or a neighbor parent, their best friend's parent. Give them that out. Just say, hey, I know you may not feel comfortable telling me because you think I'm going to go to the school and throw a fit and get everybody riled up, but you can tell Mark down the street, and he will help guide you to the right thing. So that's what I would tell parents is, at least make sure your kids know they can't do this alone. They shouldn't do this alone.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst parts of it is the kid just trying to take this on themselves. And you'll see that with drawing.
You'll see them withdrawing. I thought you said withdrawing, and I'm picturing like a kid just drawing a picture. I'm like, what am I looking for in their drawings? Like, how do I know? Like, no. Stuart Lone Wolf made a great point here. People also need educating. Like Brandon's bully. So mine that didn't like my haircut, believe it or not. When something goes from fairly harmless to bullying, it's not the detracting from bullying behavior, but some people are overly sensitive and offended. How do you know when your kid is being one or the other? Yeah.
So that's where that line is drawn. That's for many years the defense for sexual harassment in the workplace was, oh, you're just oversensitive. And that's why when it comes to getting in court, the point where someone made it clear this is not okay. So you can say you're being oversensitive, but you're going to lose that case because you continued with behavior that person said was not okay for them. We don't get to determine what's okay for other people. We determine what's okay for us.
Very true. Very true. With that being said, Jay, you're down in Louisville, Kentucky. You've done a lot of cool things. We here at the Delight Cafe like to spread positivity, joy, excitement on us, and this is a pretty heavy topic.
Yes.
What brings Jay joy?
Wow.
Twisted on you.
It's teaching. It's showing kids how to code things and create things, and when you see that spark, because them being native technology users, they are so much farther ahead than we were at their age. So seeing them create things is that's awesome. I love it.
I love that. And
very helping much. People.
Yeah.
Another angel helping people and children being bullied.
That's what we say here. But
it's a daily job because there's always one that pops up and there's always.
Bullying doesn't stop on Saturday or Sunday or when the school's like done for the day. Like it's always there. If I am a parent and my kid's being bullied and I don't want to just remove them out of the school, can I just call you and you bully the other person for us?
No, that's not how it works.
Jay, I thought that was the whole thing of this. I'm so confused now. No,
I'm not an enforcer, and we're not the PIs from the 1980s.
I could be.
Also, we're not starting you on another career path. All right, I know what's going through your head. So, Jay, with that being said, you love teaching. You love being able to make a difference in this world, which you're doing. Please do not change what you're doing because that is a very crucial thing. And I thank you for the job that you do because I know I couldn't do it, A, because I don't code, but B, that would just be an emotionally draining job for me. That is not my specialty. So the fact that you're able to do this and teach this, thank you, for real.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, absolutely. We don't hear enough compliments about the things we do. So I try to make sure we get through these things and talk, and you teach me something, and that's what I love. Yeah, he does look like Magnum PI. I agree. And I love that you go to the mustache right away.
Yeah.
So, Jay, what do you do during a day to keep yourself self-loved? Fill yourself up with joy, positivity. Like you answered that with the teaching, but like forget all your work stuff. Forget your family. How does Jay love Jay so he can show up every single day?
It's just get outside when weather permits and walk and just listen to some music and just walk and enjoy nature and enjoy the sunshine and get my head out of the digital world for a few minutes. It's amazing when you can actually consciously not focus on things and just let the smells of nature and let the sunshine kind of pervade your senses. It takes effort, but man, it's worth everything.
And music always helps.
Absolutely.
What kind of music do you listen to?
All of it. I mean, I grew up in Sacramento, right when gangster rap was hitting. So I've always been down with rap music, and
Saint Lunatics.
And because I was born in the 70s, I'm a big heavy metal fan too. So I live in Kentucky, so I'm exposed to a lot of good country music. I'm good with everything, really.
So I've got a podcast that we do on Wednesdays. We actually got a YouTube channel where we interview South African metal bands.
Oh wow!
Yes. Cool. So the Stoned Daisies.
Okay, I'll check them out.
Please do. There's some those. Because the market is very small in South Africa. So, well, not small, but it's not as well known.
Sure.
And the guys are so talented. Right. Why does it sound funny?
You said Stoned Daisies?
Stoned Daisies, yes.
I'll check them out.
They grow right next to daisies. That's why they're Stoned Daisies.
Yes. Why not?
Ilsa changed her name. She's usually Ilsa the shark trainer, and she changed her name today. Since Ilsa is in South Africa, her way of dealing with bullies is she turns them into chum and feeds them to the great white sharks. Yeah,
my sharks need to be fed.
That's an extreme end of the spectrum.
And they like people that abuse kids and women, and so just send them my way. They leave nothing. Sorry, FBI, I didn't mean that.
Jay's gonna get off of this call and be like,
this comment.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta check out a couple cases down in South Africa. We got
some pedophiles went missing.
Right.
Well, I think evidence is going to be hard to come by in those cases, though. I don't think the sharks usually leave very much.
No, and I will not text because nothing gets deleted. We'll find another way to communicate. Yeah.
That's getting back to what Brandon was asking. That's the one thing, it's hard when emotions get high.
Yeah.
But just remember, there are policies, there are processes, and that data will be available. Mm-hmm. Taking it into your own hands or resorting to violence or trying to fight back by creating your own, it's only actually what it's going to do is it's going to give that person leverage over you. And when and if it goes to court, if you're an active participant in it, you're just
as guilty as that.
Yeah, it's going to not work in your favor. And I know that's tough because it's against our human nature, right? We want retribution. We want to fight back. We want to win against those who would put us down. But the way to do that is to do it correctly so that you really actually win.
So, Jay, the way we end every episode, because we're coming up on the last few minutes and all that, is we speak positivity, whether it's your favorite quote, favorite song lyrics, maybe something you read recently that you really think people should hear. We end the show with a positive message. Don't worry, we'll give examples such as I'll go first, Elsa will go second, and then you'll be the one that takes us out for the day, so you don't have to worry. All right? So I will show you how this goes. Boom. Ready? Guys, it is Thursday. We are literally coming to the end of our week, and we have one more day. So if you have not hit your goals, if you have not hit your achievements, if you have not felt the best you all week, because it seems like there's a lot of heavy negative energy being out there right now. If you have not found your best you, do yourself a favor. Take a step outside, just as Jay said. Put the headphones on and just completely turn the silent mode on. Go for a walk, listening to music. Get out in the sun. Find your best moment for you. Reset yourself, get regrounded, and find that way that's in you to change the world. Because your talents are the ones that are going to help change the world. Because you are the best you.
I just want to say today was very, very emotional. We're all feeling it. Our hearts go out to Mandy. Mandy, we love you. And I just want to say, if anybody out there is feeling suicidal or being bullied or just not feeling well, reach out, please, to anybody. We want to listen. We want to help you. We just want to be there for you. And then have a great, great, great day. And you guys are worthy of love and respect and being treated like the humans that you are. Nobody has got the right to mistreat you. And then I just want to read a quote that's actually on today's date, which is so nice. It says, there's nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. Have a wonderful day.
Very well said, Elsa. I love that.
Well, I had to look this up just to make sure I didn't butcher it. And it's a very short quote, but I've always loved it, by Carl Jung. It's, I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become.
Very well said. I love that.
On the money.
On the money. You want to have some fun? I am a bully to one person, and it's because I love him, and he is 1 in a million. But Brett Gordon, tell us your story today. Give us an answer. He's always in the back helping me run the show. Tell us you're muted, by the way, just so I don't pick on you for being muted. Tell us your positive thing for the day before we go out, bud.
The internet provides great opportunities as well as options that are not so empowering. So make sure that you actively choose what you look at, what you believe in, what you follow, because what we feed ourselves is going to ultimately affect the way that our energy is and the energy that we project to others. So follow those things that are empowering, and the energy that is within us will help those around us, because that's what we chose to pay attention to.
Well said, buddy. Well said. Goes along right with what you and Stuart were both saying here. Not all fires are destructive. Be selective in what you fuel. Phenomenally said, Stuart. Great job. Jay, I have one last thing for you while I mute Brett, because we have the echo. What is your favorite superhero? Who is your favorite superhero?
Oh, wow. Actually, it's Juggernaut.
Oh, wow. We have not done that one yet. So Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we do a live show that's all about positivity, but leadership. It's a leadership perspective. It's one square at a time. It's from the King's perspective of leadership and being able to use today we're doing Deadpool. So we're using Deadpool and showing how he has a leadership style that maybe you're not used to seeing, and develop your, and you develop your tool belt to help you be the best leader you could be. So that's why we ask Juggernaut. Brett wrote it down. I saw him writing it down. You might be getting an email to help us with another podcast, but you only are allowed to talk about Juggernauts superpower. Boom, Brett, did you hear that? Did you hear it? Boom. I love it. Guys, what a great episode. Go share this one with somebody you know, because parents of kids deserve to know these things. They deserve to hear where they can get the help, and they need to know how to be able to better the future for their kids and each other. So share this episode, give some love, spread some positivity. Jay, you are welcome back to the Delight Cafe anytime.
Thank you.
Please join us. Oh, God, yeah. And please send us that information when you do your speeches, because I'd love to be able to put that on our website for people to be able to just a quick grab and go for parents that are looking for help. So thank you so much, Jay. Guys, go give some love. Go give him some support. Go click his Facebook and all that on his website. Be the change in the world that we're all striving to be. Thank you for tuning in, guys. We'll see you. Absolutely. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.